Alec, welcome.
Yes, welcome indeed.
Uh, we are.
And just who are you supposed to be?
Can't you tell, Alec? Can't you
No, I
tell?
can't really.
You gotta give him that hawk tour. Spit on that
Oh, gross!
thing.
Spit on that thing. Gross.
Yeah, hawk
So
tour.
you're the Talk Tua girl,
I'm the
the
hawk
her
tour
Hawk
girl.
Tua. Was she blonde? I don't remember her being that blonde.
She's not this blonde at all.
That's
Probably
funny.
closer to my actual hair color than this, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I thought she was like more brunette than anything, like maybe like a dirty blonde sort of.
You know what I mean? You gotta give it that hawk tour. Spit on that thing.
It's so weird. Everything about that is weird. I mean, hey, all the power to her for doing all that. You know, being able to
Check out my
make a
podcast,
career
Talk Tour.
out of. Yeah, you're gonna eat some lunchly while listening to KSI's song and
Really.
listening to Talk Tua. This is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life. Was that as everything around that they were like, we rented out a theater to listen to Talk Tua and eat lunchly with the cheese with the mold on it.
Wait, who did that?
Fucking Mr. Beast.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Who else? Who else would do a stunt like that?
I looked like in the comments of the Talk Tua, and it's just like all in the comments. It's all these jokes about like, man, my day was really going rough. It turned around when a new Talk Tua episode dropped, and
Wow, people have. Hey, I guess people can really get cheered up by. I don't even know what she talks about. Is it about sex at all in the podcast?
I don't know.
That's what
doubt
Hawk
it.
Tua is about. So anyway, I am Percival Frederick Stein von Mussel Klosowski de Rolo III. You may have seen me in such hit shows as The Legend of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime, or as part of the cast of Critical Role. Campaign 1, Percy, as played by
Absolutely.
Taliesin Jaffe.
I knew
And
it.
yeah, he's love this character. Is one of my all-time faves of the whole cast. I say that as somebody who has only seen the first major arc of or has listened to only the first major arc of campaign 1 of Critical Role, which is adapted in the Legend of Vox Machina cartoon, which I think is on its 3rd season now. So which I think is in the currently being released in I think in different Coors or Coors Light, you know, as I don't know why this collar just refuses to stay down. But anyway, yeah, I've only seen the first season, and that's great. First season's awesome. I can only assume that season 2 and 3 are still pretty solid because of the pedigree behind it. I'm not like the base Critical Role fan anymore so much.
Ooh.
But I mean, it's just like I just can't keep up with it anymore, really. So,
Okay.
but I still love the cast. I still love the characters and everything. It's just I just fell off campaign 3. I just don't really care all that much about the story in that one. But campaign 1 and 2, all here for it. So, and here I have the list. Better watch out.
And Hawk Tua girl, I was there on the ground floor from day one. I was a big fan.
What is her actual name? What is her actual name?
Haley Welch, I think.
Bailey?
Haley,
or Bailey?
okay. As in Hawk Tua.
Well, we do still have space here on the list to add your name, should you be particularly naughty.
You can just call me Hawk Tua girl, though. So,
Damn.
we're here to talk
Hey, I guess
about.
we might as well be real people. I was Charlie last year. I was Moist Critical, so.
We're here to
anyway.
talk about Joker, Folie, which is the follow-up to the 2019 film
boy.
Joker, and which
We sure are. We have our paddle here.
Well, you just went into slow motion
Going
for
to
me.
be.
Yes, Joker Folie is the follow-up to a movie we reviewed way back in 2019. It's Joker. And so you can go check that out if you'd like. And we're here to review it. And as always, we start our reviews with a gut check, which is the score out of 10 that we're feeling right now. But then we'll have the time to discuss in the review, and then we'll lock in the final score at the end. See what it is. All right. Are you ready?
No, I'm changing my. I think I'm changing my number.
Your gut is just, it's active.
Yeah, I thought about this earlier, and I think I'm good with this.
All right. 3, 2, 1, flip. 5 and 3.5. Okay. All right. Where were you at before you switched it?
4.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
That just happened.
Wow. Okay. So, I think this is a major case of looking back at the first Joker. I think this is a major case of perhaps I judged you too harshly.
No. Well,
To quote Thanos. Because I think it was one of the first things we reviewed on the channel. Not the like very, very first, but it was one of the earlier things that we reviewed.
mm-hmm.
And I think in retrospect, I would probably, because I gave it a 7.5, I believe. I think in retrospect, I'd probably give it more like an 8 or an 8.5, because it is actually a legitimately good movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad. I was talking with my friend Josh about this, and we both kind of agree that like it's a really good movie. First one, really good movie. It's just not a very good adaptation of the Joker as a character. Like, it could be about literally any kind of crazy clown, and the story would be the exact same. Like, you could have called the original movie Chuckles the Clown or something. Would have been the same movie. Would have been still just as good, honestly. Like, it still would have been a great film, because it's this interesting sort of exploration of like lack of sensitivity for mental health. Even just like even just as a simple like guy with problems down on his luck, it just snaps because it was just one thing too many in his life, and then he feels that he finally can have control over things in his life. But the unfortunate problem with that is that that's all reinforced by delusions and reinforced by violence, extreme violence. So like that. So I have a much greater appreciation for the original Joker than I did even then. Particularly in retrospect with this movie, which systematically hates you, the audience, for daring to like that movie. And I found that, frankly, very distasteful, and is also apparently something that Todd Phillips likes to do, because he's also the guy that directed and wrote the latter 2 Hangover films, which did basically the same thing.
Really?
They berate the audience for liking and finding the first film enjoyable by doubling down on being horribly mean-spirited and basically punishing you by punishing the protagonists of those films much harsher as a result. Which this movie does. This movie's just a nonstop punishment of Arthur Fleck, pretty much. And it's not fun. It is not fun to watch. I was not overly entertained, and I haven't even mentioned that it was a musical. But anyway, that's where I'm coming at least in the beginning here. I'll let you sort of voice where you're at.
To me, when I was thinking about after the fact how I felt about the movie, it wasn't even that deep for me. It was like I thought about like, wait, what actually took place in this movie? What all, like, from beginning to end? And like we were like just following an imprisoned Arthur Fleck the whole time. You're in the jail cell. There's nothing very interesting in terms of like scenery, like setting where all the scenes are. It's all in these same like boring locations, and then just those cutaways to like musical stuff which don't really have any bearing, and they're all like covers of songs, and it's like there's not much really there to sink your teeth into. And like I think the decision to make it a musical is very questionable. I think we could have had something much better if it was taken a little seriously, but
I actually disagree. To me, that made it way more intriguing. I think the idea of it being a musical. So, because there's that one scene, the one scene where it works. It's just one scene, and it's really short. Is the courtroom scene where he imagines him and Harley Quinn just like killing a bunch of people.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I imagined for the film.
Yeah.
That, because that was fun.
Yeah.
That was life. That was energy. That was something going on in the movie. And it was all internal, sure. You know, a lot of musicals have that sort of thing. But it was interesting. And that's what I expected the movie to be. And then it didn't do anything like that. All of the musical numbers were, it was a musical made by somebody who has no idea how to make a musical. Just full stop. No, absolutely no idea how to actually make a musical. Other than maybe going into a database and doing a keyword search for Joker and clown and funny. Because like at least half the songs have those words in them somewhere.
But in some of the cutaways, the transition to song were very jarring. it's like you see Lady Gaga just start breaking out into song, or when he first Arthur Fleck did it, was like, whoa, okay. So just you get some whiplash with how they throw you in, but yeah, there's just not much.
It's just like his croaky, terrifying sounding voice.
And everybody's here for it, like yeah. But it's just when I think of like the substance of the movie, there's just like not much happening. And like the fact that we're just,
there really isn't,
following almost nothing taking place. It's like we get like one courtroom, one like he's on trial, and then he's in the in the cell or in the whatever area of the prison, interacting with Harley Quinn here and there, and then that's it. There's nothing else really. It's
so like it's what's weird about that too is that like. I think the first movie had like a lot of. It was a surprisingly low budget. I think it was only like 70 to 90 million or something. The first one, which is surprising to me because that, from memory, that has so much more energy and life and art to the cinematography. The cinematography in this was like fine, I guess, but it wasn't anything more interesting than any other musical. Like it was very by numbers in terms of the general like staging, everything. Production design, I guess, was pretty good still, but you're not in anywhere that's overly interesting to look at or engaging, and everything just looks like rundown and crummy. But it's not in a way that adds any character to anything. Like the way the way Gotham was in the original film was just like we get like a snapshot of that in this movie at the very end, because that's like the only time that we see any more of the whole world other than just Arkham. And yeah, it's oh boy, it's just rough. It's just a rough film to get through. Well, and for starters, we don't even get to the courtroom until like an hour into the movie. It takes an hour to get there. That's rough when this is a courtroom drama.
And that, and like the whole draw of this movie is like we got Harley Quinn here now. It's like what this interpretation of Harley Quinn,
right.
And then that dynamic, and there's really not much compelling there about the relationship. It's just like immediately you see her, she loves him, she's into the psychotic the things he did, the crimes, he likes the Joker,
right?
And then it's just that's it. But there's not much depth to it. It really was just like, you know, a typical like a woman who loves the serial killer type vibe. But like then she has her own things, obviously. But
right, I think her performance was really good, but she just wasn't really there. You know, like it was like way too. I would say underused is probably the best way to describe. Because I think she's great. I mean, I think Lady Gaga is a really great actress, honestly, which is not something that you would ever have expected from and maybe you would. I don't know. She's very theatrical, just in terms of her presentation and overall singing style. But like, she's great. I mean, I think she was great with what she was given. And honestly, Joaquin Phoenix knocking it out of the park again.
Yeah.
He did a fantastic job. Um,
Yeah, it's
but the
just a
problem is
shame
like
what they were given.
the
Yeah.
yeah, the script and the story just were just so underwhelming. Like, and yeah, because like nothing really happens ultimately. Like, it's just so much time is spent in Arthur's like delusions. That's what like most of the musical numbers are,
Yeah.
and it doesn't like further. It doesn't really further our understanding of anything. That was just like, yeah, all right, we got it. You know, he's like he's in love with her. You get it.
Hmm.
Yep. All right, we can move on now. And it's just, yeah, it was rough. I mean,
To take this, what is it,
yeah,
an award-winning performance, by the way.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
and then just like, I'm always curious with movies like this that are kind of flops and that like when they're on the press circuit, do these actors know the movie they're talking about is gonna be as bad as it is? I don't know because like
I think I read something somewhere that like that this movie was almost made with Joaquin Phoenix as the audience. Like it was something like it's almost like a complete vanity project for just the director and the cast, basically. And I can kind of buy that because I don't see any general audience finding. I mean, it's very apparent. I mean, it's made a lot of the rounds. Movie is not very well received by anyone. The critics hate it, audiences hate it.
yeah.
It's pretty much just a massive dud. And I was comparing budgets. I was actually legitimately shocked that this movie has like a $200 million budget and needs something like $450 million to break even.
Yeah.
It's not even gonna. It's not. That's shocking to me, given how it's like how. I mean, Lady Gaga's obviously costs money, but like,
Yeah.
why?
She was
Like
200
licensing all
million
the
of that.
music? Was it like licensing all the music or something? Was that like $30 million,
Yeah.
but to do all that? Like, I don't know. I don't understand where all that money went
That's what gets me is like
because it doesn't look
even as a
like it
musical,
costs that.
it's not particularly good. Like it's just covers, and it's like okay,
Yeah,
that's life.
and
That's
you can
life.
do jukebox musicals and you can make it work,
Yeah.
but there's no energy to any of it. Like Lady Gaga's a great performer,
Hmm.
but like even the staged production musical, other than the one that I was talking about earlier, none of it has like any legitimate energy or like wow, yeah, I'm getting into this, you know, like a lot of the other musicals that we've reviewed
Right.
on this channel. Um, yeah, or like that's entertainment is like that's like the big that's like the I would say that's the main theme of the whole story of the whole movie, I would say. Because that comes back like 3 or 4 times. They sing that together.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
I think even like if this was a
and
really good movie, I think they already made some poor decisions. I think the whole musical aspect of it, and even the name Joker Folie Do, I think they're both like weirdly not very marketable. So even if it was like a really good movie, I
yeah,
don't know if it would have done well. But put on top of that,
yeah,
it is
because like
not really
even
there.
right, because even something like what was the one that came out, like the Mean Girls musical that came out earlier
Hmm.
this year? They really undersold the fact that that was an adaptation of the Broadway musical,
Yeah.
unless you were like really paying attention to it. Because I think I saw like a TikTok or something where it was like filming a general audience, and then like as soon as the music started, people were like, "Oh!" like shocked. And I was like, "How did you guys not know that this wasn't just a remake? Like that this was an adaptation of
Yeah, I mean,
the stage
if I wasn't
musical?"
keeping up with things, yeah, I wouldn't have known this was a musical.
Yeah,
Like I just see
yeah.
Joker,
Oh, they did not market. Yeah, they almost didn't market it at all that way. Yeah,
but I would have assumed it's like, oh, Joker last time was like
yeah,
dark, kind of depressing. Like this is gonna be very
yeah,
serious, gritty movie, and then I would have been
yeah,
shook. But
yeah.
you know, it's
This
just
still was really depressing though. Like it was even it doubled
yeah,
down on that. Like it was
it
way
did.
more depressing than the first one. Even the first
It
one
did.
was already really dark, but even more so when
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah. I mean, there's not really a whole lot else to. There's not like tons to go into here. It's just like
There's a couple things,
we
okay?
get. It starts off. We get an idea of Arthur's sort of daily life in the prison block, and it's not great. He's like, okay, well, he's going to be going to trial unless they can prove that, they can get a plea deal for insanity. Um, the cops have sort of this sort of kind of abusive relationship with him. Like they kind of treat him okay when he tells a joke, but then they give him cigarettes if he does, but then they still slap him around. Um, and he's generally liked by, I would say, all the inmates, though. They'll kind of hold him in pretty high regard.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the guards are like, tell us
And
a joke, Arthur. Tell us a joke. You got a
yeah,
joke for us?
yeah, yeah. All of them are they're weird. They're weird, and they kind of that comes into like a huge head later, which just to me came out of absolutely nowhere for no reason. They were just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you offended us. We're gonna rape you now," and it's like,
What does
"What
he
the
do?
fuck? What is going on in this movie?" I was actually like, where did that come from? I was like, why are they doing
This
that?
is what they don't tell you about prison.
Yeah, yeah. They don't tell you that.
You never
Yeah,
hear of rape
not
in
at all.
prison.
Yeah, never. Not one time. Not remotely. Yeah, so anyway, then he happens across this girl that like, is kind of interesting to him. I don't know. He's just
this is killer right
Yeah,
here.
she
You
does
do this.
Yeah.
Then you got it.
And then he just sort of got talking to her, and I don't know, he just like basically fell head over heels pretty quickly, pretty immediately. And
And
then the whole thing about their relationship is like she sees him as like, you got to be the Joker, like you can't just be Arthur. It's like you gotta that's who the world wants you to be. That's who everyone's here for. Like that's why
everyone's
you're
wearing
going on
clown
trial,
masks
but you've got
outside.
everyone's wearing clown masks. Everyone's here for you. They like that. Like, boom, you murdered that guy on live TV. That was sick. That was awesome.
That was
like
cold.
stick it to the man. Stick it to the man. Like, and that's sort of like you got to be that. That's the Joker. And so Arthur is just kind of like going along with it, and it's like sort of like him kind of coming to terms with like Harley wants him to be this way, and he's like, yeah, I guess that's ultimately, like in his mind through most of the movie, he's like, yeah, I guess that is kind of ultimately who I got to be for her and for us and for real just everything here. And then finally, like an hour and a half into the movie, he finally embraces the Joker persona, and he dismisses his defense attorney. And that was that was like that, and the scene where he realizes he needs to do that, which is the scene where him and Harley are going around the courtroom killing everyone in the dream sequence, and him realizing that he needs to fire the lawyer. I was like, okay, now the movie's got some energy. Like this could pick up a little bit. So it comes to the next day, and he's all in his makeup. He's in the Joker makeup, and I'm like, bam, we're finally here at this point in the movie. And the scene is actually really good, where he's just like as the Joker,
doing the voice
and
with
what's
like
that?
with like the accent.
Yeah, yes, he's doing that. He's doing an accent, and like, and then the Puddles, the guy who is one of the people he worked with, is just like totally like, I don't know who you are. Like, you were always nice to me, but like, I can't believe you did this horrible thing. And it kind of shakes him a little bit, but he's still basically like, well, whatever. And like, everyone still loves him, and he goes back to the prison, and like, there's like almost a prison riot that happens. They're just so enthralled by him, the fact that he's embraced the Joker again. He's kind of on a high, and then boom, because he said something against the prison guards, he made fun of them on the trial. They take him into the showers, and they like, strip his clothes off, and then it cuts, and then we see him. They throw him into his cell, and he's like a broken man again. I'm like, cool, this is fun. I like this movie is fun.
Arthur can't just have his way. I mean,
no,
he's a down dirty dog. Come on.
Yeah, apparently so. So then he goes the next day. It's just like, well, I'm not the Joker.
Yeah.
It's So it's like, okay, well, this movie's called Joker,
then,
Folie, Deux,
well,
but
Harley
there's
Quinn said
apparently
I'm
no
out.
Joker
Then
in this movie.
she said I'm out. Okay,
Yeah.
that was what I was here for.
She breaks, yeah. So she breaks up with him. She's like, all right, well, he thinks that like, well, but it's still me. Like Arthur, I still did those things. Like I don't understand. Like
Nope,
it's still me. I'm still the guy that. It's just it's only this idealization of this character, of this idea of the Joker is ultimately what's attracted to her, and so then she's just like, all right, see ya.
Well, can we talk about this judge? It's so soft. I mean, how's he letting this this outrageous courtroom going on? People like cheering, and he's like, "All right, pipe down," and then they just continue to like freak out every time he says something. And they're like,
yeah, for crying out loud, the judge in Ace Attorney is less lenient than that.
He's just letting them all chill in there. Like they should have all been removed. Get them out of here. What's going on here?
Yeah,
this is
seriously.
literally. I will not have this courtroom turned into a circus, he says, as the courtroom is a circus.
Yeah. As his courtroom is a completely circus, yeah.
Yeah. That was wild.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Legal Eagle video to drop on that one. So, we'll see.
So, remind me, I can't remember if when Arthur starts laughing, is that after I'm trying to remember, he starts laughing. Oh, it is, when he's been pronounced guilty, right? He starts doing the laugh. And then the guy comes over and decks him. Right, because the guy decks him, and then the car bomb goes off and, like, kills a bunch of people. And then he gets out. And I'm like, oh, this is taking an interesting turn again.
He's just out.
He gets away. And he gets away, and the clowns are like, hey, we still believe in you. We still believe in you, Joker. You know, the clown gang
absolute
are still
goons.
like...
Absolute goons pulled up, picked them up.
The goons are still like, oh, they're still straight up like, we still believe you. He's like, we know what you said, but we still believe in you.
And then he runs off. He runs off, and they're just like, we still love you, though. Yeah.
Yeah, we love you. Yeah, and then he goes to the steps in the first movie.
Because he knew that's where Harley would go, because it's just so iconic.
Because Harley saw him dance on the steps there.
Everybody did, and it was iconic in the first movie.
See, like, doesn't it feel like the movie should... And obviously, this is the whole subversion, right? The movie would build up to them, instead of going down, going up, like dancing up the steps together. Doesn't that feel like that's what the movie should theoretically go to? Maybe.
I feel like there's a very real possibility if that happens, we come on here saying how stupid that was, though.
Hey, if it was in a better movie, it's a movie in terms of a Joker movie. If you're building on a franchise, which obviously, as we know, the conclusion of this movie, there's no intention of building on a franchise. But if you're building on an idea of a franchise or a trilogy of the rise of the rise of Joker now, you know, you would expect him to something like that to happen. But you know, this is where Harley lets him down. I guess you could say, and then he goes back to jail, and then he gets ganked, and then the guy carves the Glasgow smile into his face, completely disrespecting the Dark Knight, and then the movie ends. Yeah, that's entertainment.
He's dead. He's dead. That's right.
Yeah, Arthur Fleck is dead. He's not the Joker. It's Arthur Fleck is dead.
That's right. And we'd be remiss not to mention, though, we did not mention the sex scene between Joker and Harley Quinn. I mean, talk about hot.
He gets like 5 pumps in, and he's already done.
That was just great.
I get it, man. I get it, man. I guess if he hadn't, you know, if he hasn't like done that recently, you know, sometimes you could be a little sensitive. I get it, but he probably should have like banged one out beforehand so he would last a little longer. But you know, is what it is, I guess.
Tell me about it. Still hot though.
No, it was not. It was that was one of the grossest, grimiest, creepiest sex scenes I've ever seen. But honestly, that was like I was kind of here for it in terms of like of how uncomfortable it was. Oh, because of how uncomfortable it was, I was like, this is kind of great because
you just know it was
her
filthy.
As sort of like it was gross. Yeah, because she was sort of this weird. She was just such an interesting you didn't really know exactly what her angle was, even at that point. And it was like, is she seducing him to then turn on him and take over his empire? Is she actually a believer? What's her angle exactly? And we still don't really know, even at the end of the movie, what the whole angle was. Not really, anyway.
She just loved the idea of him.
I guess we're gonna build a mountain.
She loved.
I love when she said that, and there was like
that.
and that's because it's a song, but it's just like I love one of the times she says it. She says to the reporters, and that one of them is like, "What the hell does that mean?" I was like, "Yes, what does that mean?"
I don't know, but she already
don't really know what it means.
She already had an apartment in his old apartment building ready for him, and he's like, well, "I don't want to live there." Yeah, I love
that. He was like, "Yes, like that was terrible there. I don't want to live there." Yeah, it's like, why would he ever want to live there? It's like the worst possible.
Who cares? They won't amount to a hill of beans, much less a mountain. And Harley, it was literally just like she liked what she saw in the first movie, and she saw him dance on the steps in the first movie, and she saw the whole movie, and she was like, "I'm here for that." This is not. But
that's what I mean. She's the audience. She's the audience surrogate.
Yeah, that's right.
She's the audience that saw the film and enjoyed it, and said, "Hey, wow, Arthur's really messed up, but like it might be messed up, but now there's something I can kind of relate to about a guy that, you know."
To be fair, I didn't like Arthur Fleck then. Goes a little too far.
You're not supposed to like Arthur Fleck, but the thing is like the movie is this movie, this sequel, is purposefully antagonistic to how dare you relate to Arthur at all. He needed to be taken care of. How dare you like the movie because you liked it the wrong way, you sick fucks. That's how it comes across to me. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure there probably were people that liked the movie for the wrong way or something. I don't know. I mean, like in retrospect, it's like, yeah, there's an element of like of the world beating you down so much that you just get fed up and one day you snap. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna shoot a bunch of people, but like I can kind of relate to like feeling like you're ignored and feeling like no one cares and feeling like the world just beats you down. Like being out in the workforce will just do that to you. If you're a single guy, the worlds can feel like that sometimes. And you know what? I can relate to that aspect of that character. I do not agree with anything that character did in the first movie. And it was also like a good exploration of like we obviously don't do a good job of taking care of mental health, obviously in like 80s Gotham, wherever this is supposed to be, nor do we really do a really good job of it right now, you know, in actual reality. So like those elements of the movie are like kind of what stand out, but at least in terms of like what I still continue to get out of it. But like this movie is like saying, no, you weren't even supposed to do that. Like, how dare you enjoy that movie for the wrong reason? I mean, when you're saying that and you're it just comes across as just like, yeah, it's extremely self-indulgent, demonizing to the audience that liked the first movie, and it just isn't well made. It's a bad musical, really boring, not a whole lot going on in the story, and then they just kill the Joker. Actually, no, sorry, they just kill Arthur at the end because this movie doesn't have a Joker.
Joker will be back in the next one.
Yeah, Joker will return. Imagine if the credits said that, like Joker will return.
Harley Quinn will return.
Harley Quinn will return. What do you think about the?
Hated it.
I actually really like the opening, the very opening of the movie. The animated bit.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. That was about my thoughts of it. It's kind of neat.
I really wanted to see someone just like walk out of the theater and be like, what the fuck is this shit? That's not what I signed up for. You know?
I was in a completely empty theater.
Yeah, there was like two other... Yeah. No, it was weird. It was me and my girlfriend, and then there was like three like older couples, like 30s or 40s and 50s. And
Interesting.
I was like, oh, interesting.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't go. What is this shit? And leave.
Yeah. But all right. The only thing I'm conflicted on and going into the final score is that we do have two great actors, great performances at the center of it. And
yeah, but they can't even rescue it though. That's the problem with it. It's horrible. I hate it. I hate the fact that both of them are fantastic. Like still, they're just great, but like not even a great performance can save a terrible film.
There's moments like the courtroom scene with the musical. That's fun. There's some parts of the musical elements that I had fun just like laughing at because it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. But and then the Gary Puddle stuff is pretty good. The Gary Puddle stuff is good. They did bring back the woman from the last movie who like he thought he was in a relationship with and imagined it.
Right.
But yeah, there's just not much there. You just if you write down what happened in the movie, it's just like you could do it in like 5 lines.
Yeah, it's like a paragraph, easy.
Yeah, which is disappointing, especially for this is the way he goes out. Damn, it's like you should have just left it at the first one. So are we ready?
Apparently, there's apparently also there's word out there that originally Todd Phillips wanted him to do the Glasgow Spile thing in the first movie, and Christopher Nolan said no because he was still at Warner Brothers at that time. He's absolutely not. You are not doing that. Like Heath Ledger's Joker is the only that should be like his iconic thing. Like there shouldn't be any other reference to that. Like out of respect for him, and then it's just like in this movie it's like Nolan doesn't have a thing with Warner Brothers anymore, and this movie was just kind of on its own. So
you give it to the doofus that killed him. That's cool.
Give it to the guy that has, the guy that
he comes up with the joke.
So unbelievably disrespectful.
We didn't get enough of the Joker laugh too. Like that was such a fun part of the first.
Really? No, we didn't.
It's weird. Like
it was. Because he did it like it was just like a tick almost, like a nervous tick, and we didn't get like any of that. I guess he wasn't nervous enough in this movie.
He's chill. He's chilling with like his homies. They all love him in there. Yeah. Yeah, he was really good treatment. Like in the beginning of the movie, at least, like he's just like everybody loves him. The guards were like cool with him. Tell us a joke.
They'll slap him around or whatever, but it's just like not any more than anyone else, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing too. Like Brendan Gleeson is a fantastic actor, and it's just like, he's the guy that rapes him. Well, it's like, why? Why do you have to do that?
Why do you have to do that? That's a question I have to. Pretty much everybody who does that, though.
That's like the whole movie in a nutshell. Why did you have to do that? All right,
you didn't have to do it.
I am no
4 and a 4. Synergy moment.
I brought it up because you do make a good point about the performances are really good. I mean, that's like the one. I mean, don't go see this movie. Like, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. It's like the performances. You want to see really great performances? Watch the first movie. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing in that movie. He's amazing in this too, but the movie is bad. So,
if you want a better movie,
if you want to watch
go watch
Lady Gaga was. Go watch Gaga. We gave it a higher score, probably, didn't we?
Kutavam Shiksham. Go watch that instead.
I'd rather watch that again.
You rated it higher. So I was like, I'll match Kutavam Shiksham was what I was coming in with 5, but then I really couldn't hold on to much to really write home about. So
yeah. I like also another thing too is the one of the things that one of the jokes I read was like Arthur like farts cue, and then it's like cue the cello. I was like, that's kind of like that's sort of what most of the movie is like. Sad things happens and then
yeah. So there you have it. I mean,
this movie just shouldn't have been made.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
we like to watch, like, if we review something on the channel, we tend to, like, if there's a new one coming out, we'll probably review it, and this is the end. That's it. And I had a really good one, and then a really not good one. Just really.
Yeah, I think Todd Phillips I think they struck gold with the first one, and then Warner Brothers is like, "You made $1 billion. Quick, make another one." He's just like, okay."
But for that, it's like they could have played it safe, and it would have been much better, right? It's like they went this weird, like experimental route for a movie that wasn't very good.
Maybe some of those 4 points are also at least you tried to do something different.
Yeah.
Boy, you swung. You didn't even come close to hitting the ball. You were like in the stands trying to swing and hit that ball. Is basically what happened. Like you did not come remotely close.
You gotta give it up
to
for
hitting
someone who swings
the baseball, but like you took a big swing. I mean, I guess I can kind of applaud that, but
kind of half-heartedly
for what that's worth. For what that's worth, I can kind of applaud that. Yeah, I can be like. Yeah, like that, It's sort of like
it's like the performance at the end, like you kind of half clap. It's like, oh, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga. What did I just watch? Really?
Yeah, but what was that crap? What was that singing about? What was?
I mean, some good singing in there.
Yeah.
Some weird
some good singing in there. Yeah, that was but Joaquin Phoenix's weird raspy. It was like, oh no, I have to hear that for how long?
It's something about there's some songs that like feel so tired to me, even though I really like them, that I hear so often. Like That's Life. Like I love That's Life, but it's just like, oh, here we go. It's like you hear the. It's like, okay, all right. I feel like I've seen that so much.
I feel like things like that need to be sung by like Sinatra, basically. Somebody that's just like.
Well, they did.
Unbelievably
They did just play
talented.
the song, right?
They did. They did just play the song.
But it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, all right, that's it. Joker Folie Deux.
Fool me twice now, I guess.
Yeah.
No, the first movie was good though, so you didn't really fool me the first time. You did fool me this time.
It's so weird, like they just with all these different like DC things, it's like they just keep like it's always like hit or miss constantly. It's like you can't stay consistent.
Crazy. Apparently the most recent speaking of DC, apparently the most recent Penguin episode is on like it's like 9 stars on IMDb. Like it's like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones levels of like. Amazing show. So it's like, it's so interesting how hit or miss the DC universe is.
But how do you
also, if you haven't seen the Batman, go see it. That movie is amazing. I haven't
seen it. Yeah, I know.
So,
But how do you fumble such a good, like, iconic Joker in Joaquin Phoenix? Like, did he just say, I'm out after this one? And it's like, okay, whatever. And like, and I refuse to do more. But otherwise, he's just like, you have a really good performance on your hands that you could utilize more.
Maybe, or I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's sort of a self-indulgent thing, where it's just like, let's make a movie. People got the wrong impression of Arthur Fleck at the first movie. Let's make something that really dives into Arthur Fleck as a character, like really deeply, like so deep that we say the same thing repeatedly for 2 hours.
I like that. All right. So. Oh yeah, we didn't say that. There's a Tarqaron score of 4. All right.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Is what point.
Yeah, I think it does deserve like a little below average at the very least. It might be even a little kind to it with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be. Honestly, it's it's the last review of the Joker Folie Deux on the internet, but there you go. There you have it.
Without further ado, there it is. Yeah. There's literally not a further ado. All right. Let's get out of here. All right. Thank you for watching.
Please.
If you enjoyed this video, what video should the viewers watch next?
Go check out instead of seeing the Joker review, you should go check out a review of Birds of Prey.
I was thinking that too.
Go check that out. I don't remember anything about that movie. Go see what we said about it. I don't even know what I gave it a score. I could probably guess. Margot Robbie, she's Harley Quinn in that one. I love her performance as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
She's great. Yeah. Lady Gaga was great too. It was a different interpretation of the character.
But I'm glad we got more of Margot Robbie, because if you just look at the first movie, Suicide Squad, doesn't do the performance justice at all. And I would have almost expected it to end there for her, but luckily we got to see Birds of Prey and the Suicide Squad. But
yeah, the Suicide Squad is like, she's so good in that. I like amazing.
But I don't suspect that we'll see Lady Gaga again.
We'll just never see her again. What? I sure hope.
She's been off the internet ever since.
Amazing. She's been. I wouldn't actually be surprised if she has been. To be perfectly frank.
No, she's got a lot
those
going
comic
on.
book fans are. Yeah,
it's one of those things like you're that successful. It's like I got so much going on. I don't even care that flopped. I don't even remember doing that movie. Yeah. You know, what movie?
I was with Joaquin Phoenix in a movie. What?
All right. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. For more movie reviews, TV reviews, game reviews, discussions, games, podcasts, and shenanigans. All right. Until next time. Make sure you hawk to us. Spit on that thing.